Hello, Shafiq here. Hope you're good. Carrying on our series of vlogs with regards to living with and being diagnosed with a mental health condition. Today we're going to be talking about, are there any long-term effects? Were there any long-term effects for me with regards to having that diagnosis, to living with the diagnosis day to day, taking the medication, seeing the group, seeing the counsellors, with regards to work, with regards to social friends, my social circles, with regards to my career options, and everything else that basically is affected with, I guess, that diagnosis that you have a mental health condition. Now, as I've said before, there's a whole series of vlogs with regards to this program, I guess, of living with a mental health condition. There's about 14 in total, so these do kind of correlate and follow on. So please go through the YouTube channel regarding from the onset of my mental health condition to the success of overcoming it. And we're kind of midway through or three-quarters of the way through. So talking about myself in particular, were there any long-term effects? Well, I basically had, now this sounds quite alarming really, from 2006 to 2016, 10 years worth of effects from having a mental health condition. Now that was purely down to myself because I hadn't acknowledged, I hadn't allowed myself to say, actually, from my first attempt in my life in 2006 to my second attempt in 2016, that actually I was struggling. And I was struggling in a way that for me was quite easy to hide. Throw myself into work, throw myself into projects, if you like, throw myself into a very, very busy work life. When I say busy, we're talking about 13-hour days, and they went to 14-hour days, 15-hour days, 16-hour days, 17, 18 days, to 18-hour working days. We're talking about, on my last attempt of my life, working 85-hour weeks, month after month. So I tried to hide my struggles and my concerns with work. And that diagnosis I had in 2006, after I first attempted to take my life, I brushed under the carpet. I went back to work after 4 weeks with a supposed back injury and a lighter workload. I took my medication. I didn't see any counsellors. I didn't see anybody with regards to CBT or mindfulness or well-being or confidence or anything like that, confidence courses, whatever you might call it. I saw nobody. I was just left with a load of pills and no understanding why I had attempted to take my life. So it was only right, obviously, that come 2016, when I'm working 85-hour weeks and I'm in a very, very aggressive part of the business, working in central London, all the pressures that comes with it, that it's going to rear its head again. So the long-term effects for me were basically the fact that I was trying to live and hide the diagnosis because I was ashamed of the diagnosis, because I didn't know who to turn to, who to talk to. Was there any support for me? Was there anybody I could trust? Because trust's a huge thing, isn't it? And for me, the effects, to go back again, was the complete and utter lack of understanding, not only from me, but also from my peers, and I guess in society as a whole, because I felt there were taboos, there were stigmas associated with somebody who only chose, in my case, to share it with my brother, my best friend, and my mum and dad, and obviously my wife. Nobody else knew that I was struggling. Nobody else knew that on and off over those 10 years I was taking antidepressants. Nobody else knew that there were reasons why I was hitting such lows. And in turn, there are reasons why I was hitting such highs, because we are up and down. And what was crucial was that I didn't understand that mental health is good and bad. I have good mental health and I have bad mental health. We all have good and bad mental health, and we're all responsible for our own mental health, shall we say. So the long-term effects was a dependency for me on sertraline, and a dependency for me on mirtazapine. I needed the sertraline to keep myself on a level playing field. The pint glass was always half full, and I needed the mirtazapine to sleep at night, because as much as the sertraline makes you very tired and very lethargic, it creates, for me personally, a great deal of insomnia, which meant I couldn't switch off. So I needed the mirtazapine to switch myself off. Now, for me, it was pretty much not a very good combination. because I just felt absolutely fatigued constantly. And obviously, working Saturdays, I didn't get much of a chance to sleep or rest, having two young children. Didn't give me any chance having an extended family, having a social life, having a family life, a life outside of work, even though it was very limited, meant that I was just literally shoveling snow in a blizzard. I was just up against it all the time. And that was a lot of it was down to the medication. But for me, the medication meant that I could face work. I could face life. I didn't reach those lows. But obviously, when you're taking the medication, initially I had particularly bad stomach. I had very, very a noticeable joint ache. And I also had the stigma that was and the label, shall we say, for me that was I wasn't surviving with life. I was struggling day to day. And those were the effects that I carried up until 2016 when I hit such lows that I attempted for the second time to take my life. But what I understand now, which is most important and crucially most important, is that a lot of these so-called effects and side effects, I had control over. I could have spoken out. I could have reached out to other people. I could have Google searched support groups. I could have spoken to more people in my network of friends. I could have actually spoken to my employer to say, you know what, this has reared its head up again and I need some help. And in turn, the employer would have got an insight to actually maybe Shafiq's not the only one, because I can tell you here and now there are a lot of people in my workplace that were on antidepressants. There were a lot of people struggling with their marriages. There were a lot of people struggling with their access to their children. There were a lot of people struggling just day to day with the hours and the workload that were on antidepressants, but were terrified to speak to their employer about it because it was a sign of weakness. I was in a very, very, very male-dominated place. So I'd say 99.2% of the workforce were male, which seems crazy now with this whole sort of Me Too and kind of equal equalities and all that sort of stuff. But that was pretty much what it was. So I couldn't be seen to be failing, and to be asked or even to mention the fact that I was on antidepressants and I was struggling with my emotions was a sign of weakness. But latterly, and this is why I'm so passionate, and why I'm so passionate about saying this, any long-term effects? Yes. My mental health enabled me to create a complete and utter fantastic life for myself. My mental health enabled me to spend time with my children and wife that I never thought possible. My mental health enabled me to leave the old self and the old way of thinking and the old career and start a new career. My mental health enabled me to help hundreds, if not thousands of people on a weekly basis by looking at my blogs, by having my one-to-ones, by doing my coaching, by reading my book, There's No Shame. It's on Kindle, it's on Amazon, it's via my website, www.shafiqempowermentcoaching.co.uk. That's what is a lasting effect of my mental health. And that's what we need to champion. This is why I'm so passionate about it. You have two choices. That one door in your life will close, but another one will open. And it's whether you decide to go through that one that opens and take it with both hands and gusto, saying, I've got a second chance at life, rather than, as I coin, checking out when things get tough. Because I tried to check out twice, once in 2006 and one in 2016. And I most definitely realised that they failed on both occasions because I'm here doing what I'm doing. And for those people watching it now with regards to the stigmas and the taboos and the concerns about having your mental health condition, no. You don't have to go around waving it as a badge of honour, but it's a sign of strength. It's a sign that you've pushed yourself further than most people can do. It's a sign that you have something in you that a lot of people won't have, even though we say 1 in 4 people will suffer. But to go to the very depths that I had to, I know that there's something about me, something different, something unique, something special that enables me to have a different perspective. Almost, if you like, a much more rounded perspective than I ever felt I was capable of doing. So that's the positive side. That's the side that you need to accept. That's the side that you need to show. That's the side that friends and family and relations and co-workers need to understand. There's somebody saying they're struggling. Fantastic. They've acknowledged it. Let's put our arms around and let's support them. That there is any for anyone wanting to know is the lasting effects of any mental health condition that you may have suffered, and most importantly, that you will overcome. So I hope this makes sense. As I've said before, please like, please share, please subscribe. Please, due to YouTube's algorithms, comment, have the interaction, and point this in the direction of anybody that might be struggling, because it's really important that we break down those taboos, we break down those stigmas, and we start talking about it. And if you want to get your hands on the book or any seminar work, just go to my website, www.shafiqempowermentcoaching.co.uk, and I'll be happy to help. Have a great day. Cheers. Bye.